All right, have and have not fans. Now, this is going to be an interesting video because I do believe somebody asked me, well, excuse me, a lot of you all have asked me to do a similar video in the past. I can't recall if I actually did one before. It is about what if Hannah becomes a have, basically talking about the aspects of, oh man, money ain't going to change Hannah. She's going to be the same she is now. But after watching the episode of The Pains, now I did not watch last night's episode just yet. The episode after they had found the bag of money in the laundromat. I did watch a clip of it on the own YouTube site. I do know that apparently it was what, $53,000 I think was what was found. Allegedly, Joanne said that, you know what, Uncle Robert, I'm sorry, I'm like the cast members of the show. I cannot remember the guy's name because he messed it up so many times, but I'm just going to call him Uncle Robert. I'm pretty sure somebody in the comments will correct me, but for now, Uncle Robert. He left some money we couldn't find anywhere, and I don't know the end result. Like, I haven't watched the episode, so I don't know if Ella and Curtis share the money. I don't know if they keep it all. I mean, but to be honest, they should use the bulk of the money, if not, basically whatever is required to fix up the laundromat. That should be first priority. But in any case, I did a video talking about, why did the money change Ella so much? Because, you have this holy sanctified woman, but as soon as this money came out, you just saw Medea Aunt Bam-esque kind of character, and it's just like, okay, this is very interesting. So I'm kind of glad I haven't done a full-on video talking about what if Hannah becomes a have, like what would that do for character? Because if it was like 2 months ago or even 3 weeks ago, I would have just said, man, Hannah wouldn't change. She would still be the same woman she is now. I mean, she would feel more sufficient, living in her own house and, doing whatever it is she wants to do. But looking at how Ella changed, I want to look at Hannah because maybe it makes me look at Hannah with a side eye now, kind of like how I looked at Ella when she found the money. So I will admit that it will be kind of weird comparing these two shows because you got The Pains, which is strictly written as like a sitcom comedy series where the haves and the have-nots is like this soap opera drama kind of thing. So even if money did change Hannah, I don't think it will be kind of as over the top as it is with Ella and how she reacted. I feel like it might be sort of a slow transformation, so to speak, because I feel like Hannah will be reaching into a new level of lifestyle that she's not accustomed to. I mean, yeah, she's been a maid for plenty of years, so I'm pretty sure she's worked for a lot of families and people who are way wealthier than she is. So she has seen firsthand what money does to those who have it, those around him, those around them, and the destruction it can do from the inside of a family to the outside. I mean, yeah, we've seen this with the Criers, but we don't know what kind of other families Hannah has worked for in the past. Now, I'm sure all of those families had skeletons in their closet, but I don't think they have been to the extent that Criers have. Like, I don't know if she's ever walked in on a murdered, a dead body before in the house. I'm just saying, I don't know. But I feel like with Hannah, it's like there was this one play. I think it was the Marriage Counselor. That was one of my favorite plays. I know that the girl that cheated on her husband with the basketball player, she said, well, money isn't everything. And then the guy was like, you know what? The only people who say that are the only people who say money isn't everything. The only people who say that are people who ain't got it. And I'm like, you know what? That is actually true. I mean, there is truth to that statement. Don't get me wrong, because I'm not a baller. I don't have all that money, but you just find inner peace. You make the most of what you got. I feel like that's the best way to sum it up. So you really appreciate whenever things are given to you. I mean, I'm very independent, so I'm not one to actually look out for handouts and whatnot. Like, I work hard for everything I have, but yeah, I agree. Like, money isn't everything, but I'm not going to lie. If I did obtain money, I am curious as to how I would behave. Would I act any differently than I do now? How would I be living? Those kind of things. But I will admit that I would be smart about it. I mean, yeah, this is me talking about like $1 million in the bank, but I would be smart about it because guess what? I know what it's like to not have money, to have the lights cut out, that kind of stuff. So I know what it's like. Like, even if I was like a millionaire, I don't think I would buy like a $10 million house or anything like that. I don't really need that. I mean, I would like a house, but I don't need one that expensive. And, you know, I've never been like a shoe guy, a cars guy, a sports guy. I mean, I'm a man, but I'm not really the typical stereotypical, oh, I got to have all the chain, you know, African American guy, like the chains, the money, the hoes, the drugs, the big house, the cars. I've never been that kind of guy. I'm more of a nerd. So, I mean, I've never really had a desire for those kind of things. So when I look at Hanna, you know, the way she's all holy and sanctified and whatnot, I have to admit now that I look at how Ella was shifted, but again, that was for a comedic aspect. Maybe after I watch the episode, that might change my opinion of it once I see what actually happens. But as of right now, I feel like Hanna would change in some ways, I will admit. I mean, maybe it depends on how she gets the money. Maybe that'll be a factor in it. Like, of course, we know good and well, like if, I think Catherine left her in the will for like, what, $5 million? If she croaked, then Hanna gets $5 million. Let's say if for whatever reason Catherine wanted to give Hanna $5 million up front, like it's like, you know what? I want to give you the money right now, Hanna. You're going to get this money right now. We know good and well she wouldn't take it. I feel like, you know, Catherine could call the bank, whatever bank that Hanna is affiliated with, put the money in there, and, you know, Hanna wouldn't spend a dime of it. So I'm trying to think. See, it'll be a lot easier to kind of see how Hanna would react. I feel like the way she gets the money would play a huge factor in how that would slowly or gradually change her character. Okay, let's just say, okay, you know, this is the only reason I can think of anything, because I doubt she has any family members who have a lot of money that will, like, you know, leave her in their will. But let's say Catherine passes away and she gets to $5 million. That's the only scenario I can think of, because I don't think she plays the lottery. I mean, honestly, I don't even see how Hanna will have the money to afford the lottery anyway. I'm not being harsh, but this is a reality because she doesn't have a job and she doesn't have any money. So let's just say Catherine croaks, she gets to $5 million. Okay, let's just say she gets to $5 million. Of course, there's going to be a grieving period, like with Quincy Jr., probably to a different extent, but, you know, this is her friend versus her grandson here. I think, and I'm sorry, I really can't think of how this would play out. I just wanted to make this video after watching an episode of The Pains, but this is very hard to even think about. I feel like Hanna, here's another interesting question, not to kind of dodge the question, but I wonder how Candace would react. Let's say Candace loses everything. You know, she's getting the numbers from Jim's bank account and taking that money. But we know as soon as Candace gets her hands on some money through ill-gotten gains, she ends up losing it. So I feel like she's going to lose that money at some point or another. There's no way she's keeping that money. I wonder if she crawls back to Hanna. I mean, that is interesting when you think about it. Almost every time that Candace has lost money, like she's lost everything, she ends up at Hannah's house, and it's pretty funny when you think about it. I wonder what she would do if she comes to Hanna and, you know, she's a millionaire now and Candace doesn't have a dime. I wonder how Hanna, you know, I'm not going to lie. I think that Hanna would actually take Candace in, but there will be some rules and regulations. I could see that happening. I don't know about the whole Hanna paying off Benny's debt to the Malones, because I feel like Catherine would have to die a little bit after, you know, 6 months time. So let's just say for the sake of simplicity, I could see Hanna paying off the Malones. Or, you know what? I could see Hanna going down to that bar herself with the Malones, with Benny and the Malones, and doing one or two things. Paying them off so Benny gets off the hook, or talking to them face to face with Benny. Is like, you know what, my son took that money. He's going. I think this happened on an episode of Good Times too, with JJ and some loan sharks. Like, he's going to pay you back what he owes, but not just like all this interest and crap. He's going to pay you back what he owes. So he'll probably be like, you know what, you're going to work here or something like that, or, you know, something along those lines. But she would shut it down. I can see that happening and teach him a lesson. But I think at the end of the day, Hanna will become a half, because she's the one who's working hard and whatnot and being faithful, while her children are the ones who out there scheming and planning, trying to get a quick buck. and then they just lose everything underneath them. And I feel like that's the way that Tyler Perry is going to write it. It is a bit predictable, but I do think at the end of the day, Hanna will become a have because she was diligent, faithful, and trustworthy, unlike a lot of other characters, mainly her children as well, who have been doing dishonest things to make it to the next level, but then they get knocked down to the floor, but then do the same thing again, trying to expect different results. And it really does hurt Benny's character, because there are plenty of times where he has been the voice of reason to Candace, and even at the beginning of the season, he's like, it's insanity, you keep doing the same thing over again expecting something different, yet he's becoming Candace in a way. So back to the question, would it change Hanna? I mean, at the beginning of this video, I thought it would change her, but then when I talked it out, it does seem like Hanna might stay the same, but I feel like she'll probably rub it in her kid's face. But to be honest, I don't think any parent wouldn't do that. It's more like, you know, see what happens when you're diligent. God's going to bless you. You know what? I want to say Hanna stays the same. You know, yeah, that's my vote. Like, I'm sorry. I hope that I didn't lead you on with this video, but I've been needing to make this after some time, but I really need to think it through. I think that money hopefully it would change her for the better in terms of, you know, I know money doesn't bring happiness, but for Hanna not to be as stressed, to be under a roof that's her own, to have money to keep up with her bills, to pay off any kind of debt, I would think that would bring some joy. Yes, she would be sad that, you know, her best friend dying was the reason this joy came, but I think Hanna deserves a victory and some happiness and less pressure on herself. So I don't know if she would turn into an Ella, so to speak, you know, especially the way she was acting on the Pains, but yeah, maybe in the upcoming episodes after we see her get a makeover, to see her have a taste. Maybe if she accepted the house Catherine has her in now and the job, maybe once we see Hanna willingly accept these things and it changed her character, maybe that would give me more of a outlier to whether or not she would change if she has the money. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Hanna will become a have? If she becomes a have, will Hanna's personality change? And will she help out her kids if they came to her?